Hey guys, jobs are a scam now. What is there left to say? Trading your entire life, energy, and health for basically nothing, while also being expected to bow your head, be polite, smile, and say thank you? I think it's gotten old. I'm pretty sure, and frankly I hope, you've already heard and seen dozens of others repeat the same complaints and analyzing the depth of the rut, expressing how suffocating it is to live and probably die under this cancer. So, I'm gonna skip that part. Hi, hello, my name is Billy, and what's the point of suffering if you don't share it with others, right? That's why I'm going to start using this YouTube channel to offer my own experiences, feelings, and opinions, while also sharing my art. I like to draw characters and create stories. Here's the thing. I live in Greece. I work a basic design job at a marketing company. Shit pay and all. And according to many, I'm considered lucky to even have that. Which would be fine to say if you didn't consider the fact that I want to die. Let's face it, people are deteriorating. I've seen coworkers ruin their health, working a second job every day, even on weekends. And most of what happens is that they end up gaslighting themselves into positivity so they can survive. Most of them, like traumatized millennials. Honestly, I don't blame Zoomers for not wanting to work, as if they belong to someone else and not themselves, while being paid like shit. I mean, if future history books, if there are going to be any, will write about this shit, they're going to remember us as modern slaves. Because it's true, even if many are unaware or fail to admit it. Sure, humanity might have experienced brutal seasons, but never in history has there been so much synchronized, systemic captivity that zombifies you, breaking through and manipulating even the very last bastion of your fundamental freedoms. That is, your thoughts and what you believe in. So much prioritization of money and quick attention over soul integrity and meaning. And I'm a victim of that too, I must admit. It's a constant struggle to psychologically deprogram myself from this life-sucking mind control, even while I know I don't want to be a part of it. This channel is an attempt to place my own mark, to attempt to connect and communicate, share love, and most importantly, this is something fulfilling and fun, just for the sake of it. But of course, there is one way I want to contribute to the dismantling of the system. I introduce to you Dead Art Society. Now you ask, what is Dead Art Society? For me, Dead Art Society isn't just one thing, but many. A playground of possibilities, a place to rest from reality, or a way to see itself reflected in it. It started as a silly little story that I wrote as a teenager to get away from the hardship and suffering of life. But after many years of maturation and title changes, it ended up escalating into a much bigger idea that I could have anticipated. Currently, I'm working on that same story. I plan to turn it into a manga. Of course, I need to get over the fact that it will never be perfect, and really, if I don't put it out there and simply finishing it instead of constantly doing it and redoing it, you know how it goes. But the manga I'm working on is only part of the puzzle. The story I'm writing, I would like it to help people, to make themselves feel at home in it. I want it to be something others return to, find therapy in, a piece of themselves, inspiration and fun. And I want all of that to be free and accessible for all. No paywalls, no conditions. Only thing you need is an internet access. Obviously, these things I want for myself too, because in a way, that's how the shows I love that I used to watch kept me alive till today. So why not create a show for the same reasons? A love letter to the past, a symbol of hope for the future, and a wake-up call in the present. Because while this project is a fantasy one, I want the reality of the world to be represented in it, as truthfully and as raw as possible. I want to show people my point of view about what I learned, what I struggled, and what I stand for, and why life and dignity is always worth fighting for and nurturing for. But that's only my Dead Art Society, the one that my inner child conjured up to realize the unconditional love that it craves to give himself. But what about yours? Yeah, that's right. You're a part of it too. You just don't know it yet. See, the other purpose of Dead Art Society is to encourage people to pick up a pencil or a guitar or dancing shoes or anything really, and to do so despite fear. That's a very important point I want to make, a very important message that I want to convey through this, especially now with the AI craze, where, you have people being fear-mongered into not drawing just because, AI. It's not by accident that artists are the first people they're attempting to replace. Back to our subject though, I cannot count the times I've heard people say shit like, I could never draw or I could never play the guitar. When they say I'm so talentless and useless, what I really hear them saying is, I don't matter if I don't produce the value others demand of me. My inner world does not matter. So by doing art with honesty and integrity, not only are you actively rebelling against that little voice inside of you, you're nurturing your own inner garden, as painful as going against the grain might seem at first. It's like cutting out the dead weeds and making way for new life. Part of the fact that I'm alive here today and talking to you can be ascribed to the bits of kindness that I was lucky to receive throughout my terrible childhood. But the other part is to the drawing that I picked up during that time. It played a huge role for me growing up and acted as my weapon to protect against the nightmarish reality, but also opened many doors to self-awareness. Of course, I had to pass through all the bullshit advice and empty ideas of what it means to be successful and worthy. And I'm glad I left that behind. I just wish everyone did take that with them into adulthood. It pains me to see so many people around me struggling to allow themselves space for spontaneity and freedom of creativity. And though I can't imagine my own life without those qualities, I really can't blame them for feeling this way. Here in Greece especially, our collective subconscious is so disheartened, so traumatized and hopeless that it's reflected in our very bodies, going through constant fatigue and like 1,000 autoimmune disorders. And of course, it reflects to the environment around us. It's especially apparent in the way people seem indifferent to even the most vile stuff going on in our country. Or it's apparent in the fact that there's a lot of abstinence in our elections. Things like mass propaganda and bad education are a good recipe for misdirecting and controlling a population after all. And censoring expression in art, directly or indirectly, is also a part of the strategy. At this stage, most people will just settle for anything that makes them feel even the least bit safety or comfort. Getting out of that zone and trying something new will seem alien to them, downplaying it. Or if they do it, they do so inauthentically, in a way that doesn't fulfill them, falling for the same old trap of a system that tries to monetize and shitify everything. I mean, not that it's wrong to make money out of your art or anything, but so many times the system itself tries to make it all about money. Literally, that's what it tries to do. Of course, even beyond that, there are systems and people out there that can do it in a harmful and or opportunistic kind of way, on purpose. Because of course, art in general as a medium that can communicate messages has the capacity for misinformation as well, or mass love-ification, which we have seen a lot in recent years. Or they can take advantage of the passion of other good artists that suck the life out of them for profit, like we see and hear stories about from when they worked in mainly big video game companies, but also other spaces. I mean, there are infinite ways that grifters exist out there, in all spaces. Some could argue that that's not real art, but just junk that distorts the actual art, or actual art from actual artists controlled by some other big evil entity. Which of course, I agree, it's not real art, but through all of that, there are cracks in the concrete. And I see something that persists. Hungry souls that cannot stop expressing themselves and finding new possibilities of life and dignity, trying to find others who are like them. Ever since I met souls like this, I'm glad I'm not the only crazy one, and I feel lucky. They encouraged me to keep going, they appreciated me for who I am and my art, and asked of me to put more of myself out there. And who am I to reject that? They too are part of what I call Dead Art Society. I want the Dead Art concept to be as inclusive as possible, without restrictions. A playground for all, something that gives freedom for creativity, collaboration, liberation. Something that heals this broken society even a little bit. I want dead art to be something that belongs to the people and not a select few. Just normal, everyday people, especially those who haven't found the courage to step into the zone but want to so badly. Give them a reason more to, not use AI. I don't want it to be another money-making attempt, which is a part of the reason why I want to put out my Dead Art Society story for free. So let's be fair here, I am in need of support and money, let's be real. I'm poor as fuck, I come from a really, really poor family, and I'm even lucky to even have the things I have right now. But yeah, my position, especially since I'm living in Greece, It's kind of wacky, to say the least. But yeah, I think true art is meant to bridge souls together and create communities. It is meant to bring you in contact with yourself, peer into your consciousness, and see what you're made of, what brought you here, what you want for the world. These are things that the current system not only dismisses, but actively punishes. And personally, I don't want that. I don't want to sit by idly and watch it happen. So this is my small contribution, my voice. After all, many times I feel like that might be all I will have left in the end, because I don't know what tomorrow holds, and I can't really turn a blind eye to the state of tension that the world is in right now. Who knows where the wave might hit next? So I want to share this message with you earlier than later, even though my dead art manga is still in early work in progress. Some might consider all of this to sound a bit silly, not so smart, naive even, but personally I'd rather be seen as naive than regret not saying it later. I'm still finding my own steps in this world and I feel very unknowledgeable. I don't consider myself that hardworking, and I deal with my own psychological labyrinth a lot. But in the coming times, I want to overcome that and work hard in the direction I want. I want to put out my work, even if it's not perfect, so you can have a chance to see it. It'll take a little bit of time before I have something more concrete to share, but I will share it. I have the skeleton down and many of the designs too. And obviously it's such a big project that you cannot really, it's not really sustainable if you keep putting yourself down by, keeping it from others. I just need to come in terms with the fact that it won't be perfect and never will, really. But for now, thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with people who you think need to hear this. And meanwhile, I'll be working on dead art and doing my storyboards. Let me know down below about your experiences and if you're into something like this. And, let's hope we survive this abomination of an economy. I wish you the best. I wish you to be healthy, strong, and full of stochastic optimism. And remember guys, all this elaborate propaganda, all of this shitty veil is going to fall soon. It's very fragile. And with all of that, I love you guys. See ya.